Happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone's doing really well. Hope you've had a good week, and I hope you've got some great plans for the weekend. My apologies, obviously, if you're working, or if indeed you're watching this on a different day. None of this makes sense. But yeah, I'm now driving home from work. Got to finish a bit early, which is awesome. But I wanted to share with you guys basically my Friday routine, or should I say my Friday routine as it was when I was a gambler. Now, what I'll do to illustrate this is I'll rewind the clock, not just the 4 months I've not been gambling, but we'll go back a good few years. We'll go back to 7-8 years to when I was in a modest paid job, working in my hometown. And the great thing about this modest paid job, yes, it didn't pay well, the prospects weren't great, but you know what was good? I got paid weekly. On the Friday, I got paid weekly in cash. And there's something really nice, there's something really Friday-y, to coin a word which shouldn't exist, about having a little brown paper envelope, with some cash in it on a Friday. You get that, you rip it open, you'd stuff the cash in your wallet, and you'd feel like, you feel like Bertie Big Bollock just for that moment when you got a big wedge of cash in your wallet. 5:30, whatever, 6 o'clock would come round, and I'd get out of work and I'd go straight to the pub, and I'd be on top of the world. I've got cash in my wallet. I'm going to the pub. I'd have something planned on the Saturday. I'd normally be seeing my missus at the time. We'd have plans. We'd be doing something. We'd be going out for dinner. Really looking forward to seeing her on the Saturday. And then, Sunday. Sunday as, who was it? Monday. The Bangles. Just as the Bangles would say, that was my fun day. That was my day where my mate would come and pick me up for doors, as we'd call it, basically when the pubs opened. And we'd get on the beer. We'd go to my mate's pub. My mate had a pub in my town. And we keep drinking. It'd be Super Sunday on Sky Sports. There'd be 2 or 3 really good games of football back to back. We'd play a few darts, drink some beer, watch the football. Great Monday. Really looking forward to it. So you'd be leaving work on top of the world on a Friday afternoon with your cash in your wallet and a whole weekend ahead of you with great plans and great things to enjoy. So loving it, feeling on top of the world for that moment. And it'd be great. It'd be great for a couple of hours, wouldn't it? I'd go to the pub, my mates would be there, get the beers in, and you'd be flashing your cash because you're a dickhead, even though you're not earning a lot, because you've got cash on you. Like I say, you feel a bit like Bertie Big Bollocks, and you're throwing your money around and buying rounds and all the rest of it. And then you think you'll have a go on the fruit machine, that's fine. I've got a wallet full of cash. Doesn't matter. If I lose 20 quid, I lose 20 quid. It's all good. Doesn't matter. No harm done. So you play the fruit machine, and you might even win, you might lose, whatever. But from that moment, you've started gambling, and that seed is planted, and you've ignited the dopamine, and wallet full of cash, spare time, alcohol lobotomizes the front of your brain, changes eliminates irrational thought. It's a deadly combination, and from that time you go from being top of the world, and then it becomes a slippery slope. And you might come home from the pub. What you'll find is you'll be in the pub later. All your mates will bugger off because you're being the antisocial one who's standing all in the corner of the pub playing the machines, while they're all sitting around chatting about whatever, the transfer window or fucking women or whatever us blokes are meant to talk about. All the cliches, all the pub cliches. And they're thinking, oh, that boring bastard, he's got to play the fruit machine. And they'll soon drift off. You'll see some of them go. Some of them will bother saying goodbye to you. Others will go, oh, fuck him, leave him. He's in a little world of his own, doing what he always does. And you'll suddenly find all your mates have gone home and you're still there with half a pint of warm Stella, playing on the fruit machine. And you might not lose all your money. Best case scenario, you don't do your absolute brains and walk home half pissed and skim. But it doesn't matter, because and I'm talking in the third person here, but this was me. I'd be walking home and I'd have that gambling bug would have been ignited in my head. It would have been lit. Basically the blue touch paper would have been lit. And from then on, really, it was a bit of a countdown to annihilation, to be honest with you. So what would happen is I'd go home. At the time I wasn't living with my partner, so I'd go home to my flat or whatever. And I'd probably I'd get some more beer on the way home, and then I'd think, oh, I'll have a little punt, because, like I say, the gambling thing's ignited. So you think I'll have another go, and obviously you go online, and a little bit of boredom at home on your own, influence of alcohol, bit of money to play with, and you play online, And before you know it, you're done. You're absolutely done. Actually, thinking about it, this story probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Actually, this happened more regularly. Sorry, but after I'd stopped being paid in cash, I've been paid into the bank account. But it didn't stop me from being Bertie Big Bollocks, And I'd play, and then what would happen inevitably is I would fall asleep on the sofa at some stupid time, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever. Laptop next to me, having burnt a hole in my lap. Empty bottle of wine, half drunk bottle of whiskey, or load of empty beers or whatever. Half munched kebab. Feeling physically like absolute crap. And I'd pretty much pass out on the sofa. I'd wake up the next day, and the standard 5-10 seconds of sort of blissful ignorance before you look around you. You see the empty bottles, you see the empty styrofoam containers from your dodgy food you had the night before. See the laptop, and it will come back to you, and you'll go, "Yep, I've done it again." And from that moment that only 12 hours earlier, you were full of hope, optimism. The weekend lay ahead of you. You had plans. You had all these things you were going to do, and you were really looking forward to it. And now you fucked it. And I suddenly realised that I was taking my wife out, my partner at the time, out for dinner. I couldn't do that. I was so I'd have to suggest something else, and then I'd have to make an excuse, or I'd have to ask her to pay or sub me the money, and that's just embarrassing. So you couldn't do that, have that nice day. And apart from that, you don't want to have the nice day now, because now you're just miserable, and all you want to do is drown your sorrows and hide away and loathe in the self-pity that comes from gambling and from that sort of self-destructive action. So you're just going to be in a bad mood now. So you've ruined your weekend before you started, purely on a psychological basis. Even if you leave the money out of it, and the fact that you're not able to pay for stuff, and you just think, look, if I just hadn't done that, and you beat yourself up over it, and then you can't. Then it comes to Sunday, and you still want to go out. And, by then some of the gambling hangover's worn out, and you still want to go out with your mates and have a drink and watch the football and do all of that. But the missus is now in a bad mood with you, which is kind of, just makes you want to go out and drink and drown your sorrows and probably gamble, because that's your escapism. And then you have to borrow some money, because you haven't got any money now. So you have to borrow some money off a mate, which means that the next time payday comes around and you have that wave of optimism, that excitement about the weekend and all the stuff you're going to do and the fun things you got planned, you can do less, because you've got to suddenly pay your mate back because of what I did the weekend before. So you've ruined your weekend, you've partially ruined your following weekend, and you've put yourself through the mill once again. And you've also damaged your health, because the chances are you've drank a lot more than you would. You've cheered yourself up with stuff that you shouldn't cheer yourself up with, be that drink, shitty food, drugs, whatever, and your relationship's taken a whack as well. So yeah, that was my routine, and that went on in various forms for years, to be honest with you. That crushing feeling that the weekend that you've been looking forward to has been ruined by the Saturday morning. Now I wake up on a Saturday morning, and you know what? I feel physically better. Even, as everyone knows, I've stopped drinking for a bit. But even when I was drinking less, because I wasn't drowning my sorrows. I wasn't ordering this crap food late at night. I wasn't falling asleep on the sofa. I'm actually going to bed now, waking up after a better sleep. I'll be honest, that some of the excitement, that initial excitement has kind of gone, because I loved indulging in my vices, gambling, drinking, all the rest of it. It seemed so exciting. It wasn't as exciting as it seemed, but I got really excited about the prospect of a day on the beer, a day out gambling and all the rest of it. That, the promise of that was the exciting bit rather than the actual action. But now I can wake up and I can actually do things. It doesn't mean I can't go to the pub. It doesn't mean I can't watch the football. But it's my choice now, and I can do more things. I get up and the wife's not angry with me, because I've fallen asleep on the sofa and she can hear me snoring from upstairs. I haven't done my wages. I can look at my bank account, and the money that was in there the night before it's still there. There's so many highs and lows with drinking and gambling, and like I say, the promise of the indulgence is always significantly, better than the actual indulgence itself, and the outcome is the devastation you can cause is so high, you know. And I was writing off weekend after weekend after weekend. I was ruining friendships, ruining relationships, cancelling plans, and just feeling so low and full of self-loathing. So yeah, happy Friday, everyone. If that sounds like you, then can I please suggest, do whatever it takes tonight, just tonight, after work, whatever, when you normally gamble, if you get paid, or, you know, whatever your Friday routine, don't ruin your weekend. Even if it's a small loss, even if it's something that's just going to psychologically just take the edge off, don't do it. You know, just chill, go home, take whatever measures are required to prevent yourself from gambling this evening, and yeah, look forward to a great weekend. And I do hope you all have a great weekend. Couple more videos to come, you know, over the weekend. I want to reply to some of the comments I had, particularly on the Fob Tea video, because actually I got a few people disagree with me, which is great, because I like that, because that's a good bit of conversation. So yeah, I'll be in touch, and yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Speak to you soon.